Hey John,
Good morning, Anu.
I haven't seen or heard from you in a very long time. It's so great to see you.
Good to see you. Yeah, I have the DOE has been in crisis mode for a while now, so we're finally emerging from the crisis mode.
Excellent. Hopefully, funding situations are reasonable.
Yeah, they it's a good thing and bad thing that they passed a budget. So so now things are starting. Nothing was happening because nobody knew what the budget was.
Right,
And
right.
now they have a budget for better or for worse.
Definitely. At least some progress is being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been this was a slot where I had to meet with the program managers in DC each week to muddle our way through things.
Oh, so you've been heading to DC?
No, only zooming to DC
Okay, good. Yeah. Too complicated to fly there all the time.
and costs money, which we
Yeah, exactly. Which the government definitely doesn't want to spend.
uh-uh.
Hey, Mike. Good to see
Oh,
you.
hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. We usually start, we give everybody a couple of minutes. So we start after about 8:03.
Okay. I'll wait. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, it's 8:03. And before I know we're gonna have Mike go first because he's in the UK time zone, so it is Friday evening, and he would like to get on with his beer. So we'll get him started in a minute. But before that, I see Cliff on the call. Cliff, anything you want to tell us before you fly out to APAC?
Thanks, Anu. I think just to let everyone know, if you haven't, that we, I think, have done the schedule now, and it should be live for OCP Global Summit. And we also are now working with everyone on the Open Chiplet Economy Innovation Village section. So we have that coming again this year. And just a quick update on APAC. We have a full day of silicon and chiplet and advanced packaging discussions going on. Looks like we're meeting with TSMC and several MediaTek and several other of the silicon houses while we're there next week. So we'll be talking a lot about this work with everybody in Taiwan. And also, I believe ITRI is interested in getting more engaged now with the Open Chiplet Economy project. So we'll be talking with them about how to make that happen, and good that Jawad will be with us. Just to let everyone know that we had the cap pre-registration. We hit our cap of 1,200 pre-registered for the conference next week. And we've got several hundred more tickets available for people who show up on site. And so it looks like we are going to hit our 1,200 max for this first event in Taiwan. So just some news for everyone about the interest and the uptake in Taiwan, and some of the good things to expect in the next 6 months.
Thanks, Cliff. I'm glad to hear that there's 1,200 people and probably more going to be coming to the APAC summit in Taiwan. This is the first. Is this the first one or the?
This is the first one in Taiwan. We've done a couple of other summits in South Korea. This year we decided to move it to Taiwan, and I think that we made a good choice. It looks like to me pushing past 1,500 and having 2 or 2,500 people next year is a very viable option with the interest we're seeing and the quality of the content that we've been able to put together.
Excellent. That sounds really very good. Thank you, Cliff. Are you flying out this weekend?
I'm leaving this evening.
Okay. Yeah. I know Javad's already there, so he's
Yeah.
excellent. And as far as the global summit, the responses did go out. And then I know that some of the panels I've put names on it, but I don't have too many details. And I know a few people have asked me, but we're in the process of working through it. I'd like Javad to come back for us to have a good conversation to put together interesting panels with interesting participants. So for those who just got a response saying you're on a panel, just hang in there. We're trying to make this program as exciting and interesting as possible. And so curating it takes a little bit more time and effort. I'm waiting for Javad to get back, and then we'll reach out to each of you as speakers as well as for the panels. Thank you. I really appreciate it. If no more questions, then I'm going to hand it over to Mike Bartley. And Mike, I'm on the phone because I very cleverly told my daughter I would drop her to LAX and be home by 8 o'clock for my meeting. But you know how LAX works. I am stuck.
Okay.
I am sitting in a parking lot in Santa Monica right now.
Okay.
And so if people can't see anything, please, I don't know. I'm watching it on my tiny little screen. But Mike, please introduce yourself, and it's all yours.
Okay. So hopefully you can see my screen. Can someone confirm?
Yes.
We're seeing a
It looks good.
title. Yep.
Perfect. So this is the PPT that we presented earlier in the year at the EMEA summit in Ireland. It gives an overview of what we've been doing with the chiplet-based, we call it SIP, System in Package, Testing and Verification White Papers. So to give you a bit of background, I don't know if this is covered or not. So we have now got a work group on SIP testing. It's a manufacturing test process and recommendations that you would use for a system in package built out of chiplets. Version 1 was approved, I think, end of 2024. In 2025, we started on version 2, and we've now got a draft of the white paper. And we want to take that through a review process so we can release version 2 as well. We've also got our charter now in place, and we just need that reviewed as well. These things are all online, so you can just quickly check them online and give your feedback directly. Now, also, after doing the test process, somebody also said, could you do a similar one for verification? Because that's probably even more challenging. So we've also produced a white paper for version 1. That's not an official work group yet. We're still working as a sort of outside of OCP with that at the moment. But obviously we're trying to look for both approval for the white paper version 1 and for that team to become official OCP work group as well. So that's the sort of background and objectives for this call. And for some reason I can't minimize that. Okay. So the problem set is multi-designs are growing. There's more and more people trying to get SIPs built from chiplets. If you have a monolithic SoC, and on the SIP, one bad die can cause the whole package to fail. So on a sort of monolithic SoC, the chances of having such a large piece of silicon with 0 defects, that becomes less and less likely. And so you can break it up into chiplets, but then the other failure mechanism then is that one broken chiplet can obviously cause a whole package to fail. Now, there's obviously ways of mitigating that by having some sort of recovery process, or meaning that you can run with 7 chiplets instead of 8 chiplets, but some of them quite hard. So we're looking at the white paper, the version 1 and now the version 2, looks at DFT standards, how you could potentially integrate DFT with chiplets coming from different vendors. I think the evidence of the chiplet market at the moment is that most companies are actually trying to build all the chiplets in-house and connect them up, rather than start buying chiplets from external vendors. It seems to be the current trend at the moment, but obviously the OCP with its chiplet marketplace is trying to change that and trying to get a real market in chiplets, so that people can actually just go and buy silicon as a chiplet and then integrate it into their package. So we need to be able to integrate then the DFT standards in those various chiplets and understand what the structural defect coverage is, and effectively follow a known good die process, so that you're buying working chiplets that they've been proven in some way through a testing process as a known good die. And if you're doing 3D with stacked, so for example, stacked memory, stacked HBM with a TSV, then you know that that stacked memory is known good silicon as well. So we also need an architecture, probably some sort of hierarchical test architecture, which allows us, because it's unlikely that every chiplet on that package will have some external test port or test access, some TAP. So you probably need some hierarchical test architecture. And even if they do all have external interfaces for test, you probably still want one manager of the test process, which could potentially sit external to the package, but typically you'd want some sort of master chiplet on your package that's managing this whole process. And obviously those chiplets, as individual chiplets, are going to produce a lot of test data. You need to manage the process of getting that off the package, so that you could actually measure the results and see if there's if there's any broken die or broken interconnects. Now you may say, well, if I'm following a known good die process, then why do I need to test the individual chips or chiplets? And the answer there really is because when you add your chiplets to your interposer, there's a potential for introducing new errors, probably mainly around the interface level rather than the actual chip itself, the internals of the chip. So you may want to restrict your just to interfaces if you can trust that the likelihood of introducing a bug onto the actual silicon within the chiplet is likely or not. We've been looking a lot at system level test. It's a sort of mainly around functional test rather than a structural test. And a lot of people now are doing that on their SoCs. Obviously, that can be used on a chiplet level. Question is then, how could we reuse that at the system level? So you similarly for the DFT, you probably want to reuse that at the system level as well. So there's a lot of questions around reuse of test. Now you've got some sort of hierarchical structure. So the version 2 is released. There are the people who are contributing to that. Myself, Boon Chang of Intel, Jürgen of Tesov, Rajesh. Still says Capgemini. He's apparently moved to Cadence. He said he would update this. Obviously, he hasn't had time. Wade from Teradyne, Sadiq from Microchip, Danapathi from Intel, Jeremy from Microchip, Virani from IC Labs as well. Synopsys are also involved, and Siemens are also involved, but they've obviously chosen not to put their names against this. Now, I assume that these slides will be shared afterwards as a PDF. So when you get that PDF, there's a link that you can go, and that's if I were to click it now, it would take me to a Google Docs page, which is here. And then you could see the obviously that you can see more people. Synopsys are on here, but not obviously Advantest as well. So we've obviously got quite a few, and then you can then see the white paper in all its contents, and you can give your feedback directly. I would request that you use suggestion mode. So when you're actually editing here, you can either do it as a suggestion, or you can do it as a. I would prefer suggestions here because that would allow you, so it doesn't become a real edit. It becomes a suggested edit. Okay. And you can also add in a comment if you want as well. Okay, so hopefully a nice, easy review process for you. But obviously you'll need to access this with some sort of Gmail account, some sort of Google account. You can contact me directly to get access. It's because we have to give you access. You can't just we don't let anybody in just to obviously we control access to this. I'm always looking for new people to the team, either just to make a presentation from your company about how you're using chiplets and how you test them. You can obviously contribute to the version 2 reviews. We're planning at the end of August to have some sort of brainstorm about what we want to do next. We did want to do a version 3, but that's obviously got delayed now because we've been waiting for maybe over a month for this meeting to happen. But we're there now, so that's good. So that's the future. Now, the reason we wanted to get your deadline end of all, I think there might be a timeline for this as well. Yeah, I'll go through the timeline later. Okay. But that covers version 2. I said as well we need to our chiplet work stream. Sorry, I think I might use work group earlier, so work stream, and the verification is a work group. We need to get this charter approved because I think that's part of the OCP rules that you have a charter. And you can see there, we're trying to address the challenges, limitations, and testing posed by advanced packaging techniques and chipletization, which I'm told is a real word, to develop new test methodologies, workflows, and integrate them in the best, industry best practice, really. It's structural testing. That's what most people are used to, but we're also going to include functional testing, as I mentioned. Okay, and I think you've seen I've already shown you the membership here.
So, Mike, I have a question.
Yes.
Going from the first white paper to the second white paper, could you outline for us what is the value add in terms of, we've identified all the problems starting in the first white paper and the second white paper. Are the solutions that you are proposing incremental? Are they actually being adopted by EDA tool vendors, or have some companies actually used it successfully? I think it would be nice for the team here to know the incremental change between white paper 1 and 2. I know there's slide decks and documents, but if you could share with us at a high level what that is.
The easiest way really to find that out is just to look at the content of version 2. It's all new content, completely new content. So anything that's in version 2, and we can look at that again. If it's in version 2, it's new, basically. So that's the easiest way to find out what's new.
Okay.
To look at the contents page.
Okay. And when all of these EDA tool vendors are participating in your meeting, you said there's Synopsys, there's Siemens, and maybe a few others who have missed. They already have methodologies and flows in place. Are new solutions, is that something they would adopt into their tool based on the recommendations from the white paper?
Not necessarily. I think what they're saying in the white paper is potential solutions to the test problem based on their EDA. So most people in the work stream are just basing it on their expertise from work. I mean, that's their best source for adding content. So for example, the Advantest, we're looking at it from a test equipment point of view. Intel, we're looking at it from we're building chiplets and we're integrating them. This is how we would do the testing process. Synopsys and Siemens are looking at it from, well, here's our EDA solutions for implementing this. Tassolve is a test service supplier that are supplying services into chiplet test. They're the types of solutions they're offering. So I guess everyone's just doing it mainly from their perspective. There is some research going on. So, for example, a section on standards, as you'd expect, is mainly based around the standards available in the industry. So that's not necessarily based on what you're actually doing yourself. It's based more around what's available in the industry. Okay. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think so. I have to be honest, where I haven't gone through the paper in detail at all. I've done a quick skimming. So the onus is on me, of course, to go and read it and then get back to you with questions. And you've provided the link, I think, to everybody on the team.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll send you the PDF, and then hopefully everybody will get the link. Yeah. Okay, I'm just aware I've got 5 minutes left. I'll try and finish this in the 5 minutes. So, as I said, we've proposed a verification white paper as well. Again, there's a link to that. That's so that would allow you to look at that as well. Obviously, it's version 1. So there is no delta between the version 1 and the version 2. This is all new stuff because it's a new version 1. But again, you can see the types of information in here. Hopefully, I can. For some reason, that's not that. So here, what we've tried to do here is, the challenge is system simulation challenge. In terms of scalability and the fact that you've got multiple vendors contributing, pre-silicon verification, how you reuse that, coverage closure, backwards and forwards capabilities, protocol challenges, integration challenges, security challenges. Again, so and then what the IP and VIP deliverables are. Functional verification, compliance, what does good look like in terms of a compliance process? And you should be able to see again contributors. So Synopsys, Cisco, Accelera, Imagination, Intel, Amazon Web Services, Qualcomm, all in there.
So Mike, is this work a separate team that you have? Because as best as I know, for the rest of the OCE groups, we've never had anyone from AWS or Qualcomm join us. It's interesting to see the names and the companies that you show on this sheet. And is this a work stream that you guys meet regularly? And because it's not an OCP, it's not an OCE work stream. I currently don't have a verification work stream at all. So this is outside of the OCE work, is what I was.
Yes, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, this is outside of OCP. But we're proposing that OCP adopt this because of the importance of verification and the fact that you don't have a verification.
Right.
So that's the proposal, is for you to adopt. We'd like you to adopt this. And as you can see, we've got a very good these aren't just a few small companies. These are big companies that can contribute a lot and have good knowledge. And it's interesting that you say AWS and Qualcomm have no other contribution apart from this. So
Right.
that's hopefully of interest to you. But there's some big ones in here. Imagination, Intel, they're important. Cisco, Accelera, that's a small startup, but they're doing chiplets. So
I think this question goes to the rest of the folks on the group, all the collaborators in the OCE, as to feedback on starting a verification work stream, incorporating what Mike and this group have already done towards it. So that would require, I think, a review of the white paper and then feedback from all of you to understand if it's um, of importance to everyone, and it's work that can be shared in an open source manner. So feedback from all of you would actually be really valuable at this point. Any thoughts?
again, there's a link. If you access that link, you'll probably be asked for permission. You just email me and I give permission, and then you can access it. Again, we would request that you only suggest rather than make edits, because if you're starting to make edits, then we're going to be in a bit of a mess. So we
Yeah.
want suggestions rather than real
Understood.
live edits.
Mike, if you could put that link on the chat, in the Zoom chat, I think people can access it, and you'll probably get folks asking for permission sooner than later.
Yeah. That's probably the best way of doing it. And
Yeah, it's the easiest way. They're on the meeting, they'll just link to it right away and
Okay.
look at it hopefully later today.
As soon as the presentation's finished,
Yeah.
I'll do that. These are the timelines. So we've now for the test, V2 draft has been released. We're giving you end of August. We'll update it and do a final release in September. That allows us to present it in October at the OCP summit. I think it's in San Jose. But we've got presentation slots, so we obviously want to present V2 at that conference. Okay, so that's why we've got this timeline. Verification probably doesn't need to be so tight, but we'd like to follow the same timeline. So again, at the OCP summit, we can hopefully become an official work stream there, get it approved and get it announced. So that's what we'd like to do on the verification, if the OCP can approve it by then.
Yeah.
And then,
So Mike, you've
as a
got
conclusion,
a spot on the global summit to present, and what I would really like is between now and then to get feedback from the team, the
yes,
significance and the scope of what Mike's already done with a team of subject matter experts.
yeah. I would just put the the caution that verification was such a big topic, we had to limit it. So I think it's easy to punch holes and say, well, you haven't covered this, you haven't covered X, Y, and Z. And we would probably say, yeah, we couldn't cover it all. When there is A to Z, the fact that you've covered
Understood. Yeah.
A to G, but not X, not X, Y, and Z. It's otherwise you'd end up with a 500-page document that nobody would read. So
Understood. And verification means many different things to many people.
yes,
And so it can cover.
We've tried to give you a definition, but you may disagree with that as well.
Yeah. So what I think is, therefore, once you have a scope defined,
Yes.
people either say we want to expand it, in which case, they bring the resources to expand it, or
Yeah.
we stay content with what we've limited it to, and then expand it when we have time and get a chance. So I think that's fair enough for
Well,
everyone to. Yeah.
We would plan a version 2 in September as well. Again, exactly the same process that we followed for tests. We'd do a version 2 as quickly as possible. But it's quite nice to get version 1 as a straw man, and people say, yeah, I like it. And then they give their feedback and say, I would like to see these sections added, and we can add that into version 2, and that then gives us a sort of better version 2, because we've been through a suggestion process rather than we've just decided what we're going to add. So
Okay, and you're looking for just comments on the side of the document is what you're
Suggestions and
Suggestions.
comments. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay,
Mike, can you paste the link in the chat
I'm
for
gonna do
both
that now.
documents?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
Sure.
As my next. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Um,
I know you got to drop off. Have a good evening and
Thank you.
appreciate it. And I hope we can rally the troops and get you some good feedback. So
Okay.
going forward, if you want to set up this work as a OCP supported work stream, so it would just be you with the group
Okay.
continuing the work, but under the umbrella of the OCP. So we'll let you know. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you. It was good to get my slot eventually. That was good. Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks.
it. I'm gonna put the link in now.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mike. I had one more topic here today. I think Raghu is here. Cliff, are you still on the call? Check.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, perfect. So, Raghu's been looking at a more concerted effort required towards the virtual prototyping that the discussion he had started, I think maybe a month or two ago. And for that, it requires, I think, a little more participation and sort of an official request for help. So Raghu, I'm going to let you go ahead and make the case and see how Cliff thinks we can get some help through the OCP.
No, thanks, Anu, and thanks, Cliff. I think Anu said it well, Cliff. I mean, we can go to any level of detail. So let me know how far in the detail. But building up on what Anu said, we have got a good proposal, I would say, that we have vetted around multiple forums out here in OCP and OCE. And we also came to the Rob Coyle and your kind of the workshop, right? We presented it there. And fundamentally, what this is that we want to start building up a virtual kind of ecosystem, like way up in the front. And hopefully we can, if we build a good virtual ecosystem up front, virtual prototyping ecosystem, then hopefully that could lead to more opportunities to build a solid backend kind of thing, right? But we're not trying to focus on the backend. We're only in the front end, right? We want to build more engagements in the front end. And essentially, we are trying to build a layer on top of what's already there in the industry. So we're not trying to recreate anything, right? But we want to say, can we make it an open framework that many vendors, like EDA vendors, chiplet vendors, IP vendors, can come and participate and drop their virtual prototypes? Then we can have like a best practices on how these can be tested and say, hey, a lot of these chiplets can work together or would work together, right? So you want to build up that front end of the ecosystem. But we need really broad participation in this, in a sense that we want to have industry review of it first, right? We have a proposal, but clearly the industry experts hopefully will review it more and we'll get a framework that is more vetted out and aligned to the industry. And at this point, the best way I can see is to go through the OCP, kind of your kind of publications, newsletters, amplification, etc., so that we can broaden the participation. And also we'll be more kind of neutral, right? Because if we reach out one-on-one, we'll be biased. So we want to get that help, Cliff, to start that process. I'm totally happy to, I can work with Anu and other people to get the content in and the proposal in, but just we need the kind of marketing kind of umbrella.
Yeah, we can do that. This is going on in one of our work streams, which is sorry, there's some noise back there. I'll try to ignore it. I think the best thing to do is get a short ask together with some pointers to the presentation that you did in the AISI workshop. And we can push it out on our social media channels. We can put it in the newsletter. There's a whole number of things we can do to attract people and have people come to you to work on it. So happy to coordinate with you on that.
Cool, good. So you essentially, when you say ask, you're saying anything that is ready to be amplified, that kind of ask, like, and put like a kind of a one page, kind of what this proposal is. I don't know why my screen has become white.
No worries.
I'm trying to see if I can, but anyway, you can see, you can hear me now, right? So yeah, so you think I can pretty much do like a package marketing content, one page, there's a proposal, and then I can maybe some blog content and I can
Yeah.
send it.
I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
what the ask is should be clear, right? How do we want people participating by dropping in
correct.
these models, right? So yeah, I think we can do that, Raghu, and send it to Cliff for review and then publication some on the social media sites.
And maybe even our newsletter, we could do that
Yes.
as well. We also, and I'm not sure if there's a regular call they could join that you're holding around this one.
Good question, Cliff. So yeah, the way I'm planning it, and I'm totally open to Anu and all of our people out here suggestions, is that I would like to have first put this proposal out and then invite each vendor or each interested participant to come in almost every Friday, right? We have the Friday meetings, that slot is open. And each vendor can come in and provide their thoughts in terms of, is the framework good? And also, if they do it, what would that be, right? So if every week, if we have some calls like this, and we'll also, and all vendors can participate in all calls, right? So we want to keep it in an open, kind of transparent methodology. And so, yes, I mean, the Friday meetings right now, we have as business workstream meetings. We can use that as our kind of the point where we can invite people to come and present and other people also to review it, and then kind of build a kind of coalition based on that.
Okay, so then you might be in your asking people to prepare a short presentation or
Correct.
something and come
Absolutely.
to the Friday business call and present and
Correct.
join the community. Sure. So as long as you've already got the call set up and it's in the calendar and you can give them a link to the call
Correct.
as part of the ask, or have them reach out to you so you could schedule them or something like that. So just make it clear
Correct.
how they connect.
Correct. Yeah, and also would like to create one neutral mailbox, like a neutral OCP mailbox, something like virtual prototyping at OCP project. I think the kind of the
Okay,
extensions that you
well,
have.
correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're currently a project lead, right?
I can't, I'm not an official
Lead?
project lead. I'm not official project lead.
You have a workstream lead?
Yeah, so we will. So the way it worked was, Cliff, this idea came up in the business group,
Right.
and Raghu came up with the idea, with discussion with Marek and the members of that work stream, and then we presented it at the system work stream. We presented it at this main 8 a.m. call, and so with Marek stepping down, my proposal is to make Raghu the lead of what's called the business work stream, but it's going to morph into the work that Raghu is proposing to do, and hopefully we can get a good coalition of people around that. So that hasn't happened yet because I was waiting to define the scope of the work and make sure we had enough people interested before morphing it into this new work stream.
Correct.
Right. So with that, Raghu would get the OCP tools.
Yes.
And you have an OCP email address and the rest of that. So that I think what you need should be covered under that, Raghu.
Okay, correct. No, absolutely. And if that's the way it is, because I didn't want to, like, if people come back, it should not look like they're sending it to some personal Yahoo email, right? So it'll not look good.
Exactly.
Right?
So yes, you would get the workstream lead tools, which would give you an OCP email address.
Okay.
Yes. I can have Kevin set that up for Raghu.
Okay.
And that way, at least you can put that more OCP official email address on the thing.
Okay.
Flyer.
Cool. Good. Okay. Thanks. That's sorted out. And then also, like, I'll ask for some help to post it on LinkedIn and kind of some kind of blog and marketplace blog and all that. So I'll just craft a small short request.
Yeah, and the newsletter as well would be important.
Yeah, newsletter also very important. Yeah, absolutely. And then I think the idea is that if I'm able to get enough meetings in the next 2 months, no commitment, I want to see if I can give a little bit of a real-time information during the OCP Global Summit. So that will be a good thing.
Okay.
Good. Good.
Excellent.
Thanks for your time, Anu and Cliff. We're looking forward to the next steps.
Yep. Thank you. I have been negligent in trying to connect the two of you together.
No,
and
that's
I think
fine.
when I saw that Cliff was on the call today and he's taking off today for Asia, I thought this might be our best bet. So thank you both. Appreciate it. Any other questions from anyone else, or we can end early?
Well, I just wanted to ask the notion here, what kind of a model are you thinking of exchanging, Raghu?
Oh yeah, yes, sure, John, you're very critical. So yeah, we're thinking. I mean, right now it's kind of like a system C types of model, system C.
Okay, that would be good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, good. I mean, I said, by the way, John, if you want, I don't know, I can spend 5-10 minutes now, or if you want to have a more detailed review later on, I'm happy to do that. Let me know how
Yeah,
you want to do that.
let's get together offline. I'm intrigued because we have a bunch of chiplet modeling efforts underway, but it would be nice to standardize around one approach.
Cool.
So I'd love to hear about what you have in mind.
Okay. Do you want to? I
So,
don't know.
John, if you're free at 9 o'clock, Raghu runs the business workstream meeting. Is it possible you join there so we can?
I have my management meeting at
Okay.
9, so
Yeah.
yeah, sorry.
Any
Yeah.
other time that works for you? Sorry, I sorry to hold up the entire audience out here, but John, is there a good time for you to?
Shoot me an email. We'll sort something out.
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
good. Yeah.
All
No,
right.
John's. I'm so glad you're there today because you're the right person for this, and I think you'd be really interested in what Raghu's trying to start.
Oh, it sounds great. Thank you.
Okay. All right, John. I'll catch up on email, and anyone else who's joined, let me know. I can also bring them in.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a wonderful weekend. And Cliff, have a safe trip.
Thank you, Anu.
Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye.